All right. Well, good morning, Rotary District 7770. Welcome to Conversation with Rotary Action People for Friday, January 15th. It's already halfway through the month of January of 2021. Can you believe it? Is time flying or what? My name is Donald Hovis. I'm your CWRAP host, and I'm from the Chicora Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're pleased to be joined by Arnold Kamler, the chairman and CEO of Kent International. We look forward to your presentation in just one moment. After some announcements, I will kick it over to you, Mr. Arnold. We're happy to have you here. I know you're a friend of some folks here in our district, so we're glad to have you.
Okay.
Introducing your CWRAP team, our public image chair, and your friend from the 5 Points Rotary Club in Columbia, Mary Gask. Good morning, Mary. You match your pink sweater, or your purple sweater matches your purple background there. And joining us this morning is our District Communications Officer from the Somerville Evening Rotary Club in Somerville, Mr. Terry Moore. Terry, good to see you. Now, on Wednesday, actually on Monday and on Wednesday, I put a challenge out there to ride your bicycle into CWRAP today. Well, I can tell you guys, I've been riding my car right in here to get on time at 10:59. So hopefully, you guys are on your bicycles out there. I don't see anybody pedaling, but maybe by the end of this, we'll be good to go. So Arnold, good morning, sir.
How we doing? I'm good here.
Well, good. Tell us first of all, Kent International, I believe you're in New Jersey.
We are, yes.
Okay, and are you in New Jersey right now?
I'm in my home in New Jersey. My wife has a rather weak immune system, and so her doctor asked me to be only working from home. Our office, we have about 50% of our office working there. We installed the plexiglass, but I've been working from home since June, and I had hair put in years ago, and I'm starting to pull it out now. It's the, but it's. But anyway, it's about all healthy in my family, but yeah, I'm working from my home in New Jersey.
Well, excellent. Good to hear. Those of you on here, thanks for being here this morning. How about in the chat box, I need your name, your Rotary Club, and if you like riding bikes, I want to know that. If you don't have a bike, if you're flat tire, we saw that right there in the chat. And then if you have a question for Arnold during today's presentation, post it there, and I'll ask Arnold the question at the end. So Arnold, my first question for you is, I understand that your family has been in the bicycle business for many years. Can you give us a brief history of this?
Yeah, sure. Well, my grandfather worked in a small bicycle shop in Poland and immigrated to the United States in 1906. Opened up a bike shop in New York City in 1907. Family moved to New Jersey around 1950. My dad grew up in a bike shop, decided to go into the wholesale end of it, and in 1958 started importing bicycles from Europe to take advantage of the low-cost labor in Europe, which sounds kind of funny right now. I joined the company after graduating from college in 1972, we grew the import business, but in 1979, we decided to manufacture bicycles in the States, and we did it for 12 years until 1991, but there's so much cheating from China that time that we could no longer compete. And so we shut it down, thinking that we would never manufacture in the USA again. Fast forward to Walmart's convention they have every year, although not this year, unfortunately. The theme was bringing back production to the United States, and so we met with governors from about 15 states, but the one governor who really was so excited about the possibility was your former governor, Nikki Haley. And she was super supportive of the operation, and so we decided to. And then I guess the last thing about our company is that our business has grown. We sell worldwide over 3 million bikes a year now. Wow. And in 2020, we were Walmart Supplier of the Year.
That's awesome. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm looking for a bike, so we need to talk.
Okay, well, I know a guy who knows a guy.
A guy knows a guy. So awesome. Do you, next question for you is, do you always know that you would be joining the family bike business, or were you more focused on doing something else?
Well, no, I really had a very difficult relationship with my father, to be candid. May he rest in peace. And so I really wanted to be a professional golfer. I was captain of the golf team at my university and school, and if I could have putted better, I probably would have been a professional golfer. I also studied advertising and marketing, and I had some nice jobs. But my dad uh, begged me to try the bike business after I graduated for 2 years. He said, "Look, you can always go back into marketing." And so in 1972, after graduating, I said, "I'll give it a try for a couple of years." And 48 and a half years later, I'm still here.
Well, that's awesome. 48 years.
Yeah.
So I found out a little information prior to me coming on this morning about something in Manning, South Carolina. So my next question is for you: is you opened the BCA factory in Manning in 2014 at a time when most companies were closing USA factories and moving production to Asia. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I asked myself that question many times, but no, it's something that my father had wanted to do, and that's when we started in 1979. It was always in the back of my mind. But then when Walmart had their convention looking to push, and so Walmart announced back then that they would move $25 billion a year of purchasing away from imports to goods that were produced in the United States. And so that was enough thing to get me taking another serious look at it. We also saw costs in Asia going up, currency going kind of in the U.S. favor. It didn't go exactly as we planned, but that was our thinking at the time. But we also saw that there were a lot of really positive things. Energy costs are lower in the United States. Real estate, believe it or not, is lower in the United States than most places in Asia. And we saw automation. I went to automation shows at, there's a big one in Chicago every other year. The other year is in Atlanta, and I'm blanking on the name of the show. But could see with the possibility by using automation. And we've actually done a lot of automation within our factory. Still got a lot of people there, but with automation, we still feel the U.S. can do a good job competing in the future.
So why did you choose South Carolina, and specifically the city of Manning, which is in Clarendon County?
I toured. Gee, I spent the better part of 4 months. I mean, we look for the incentives and all the different opportunities and people wanting to set up and create these jobs. And there were several places we looked. I wanted to stay on the East Coast because I'm an East Coaster, and I wanted to be close to a port originally within 50 miles. We're actually about 75 miles from the port, but that you set up a plan. But it was really there were several states with similar programs, but it was the nonstop interest of your former governor, Nikki Haley, who just kept contacting me all the time and saying, "Arnold, you need any help? You need any help?" And she assigned some of her best people and so I went around everywhere, finally narrowed it down to South Carolina, visited about 18 different counties in South Carolina. And it was one day I was in a factory in Manning, and I just looked at the people, the workers, and the work ethic, and I go, this can work, and I liked it. I visited some other places in South Carolina that I was not quite as positive, and I guess the last part is that in the building that we found in Manning, it was an old building. It's 200,000 square feet. It had not really been occupied other than some random warehousing for years, and needed a lot of work. But it was a good structure and 200,000 feet, but there was no gas within 4 miles. And so I was with the guy who's now worked for SC Power, and he was at the Commerce at that time. And I said to him, we have to, if we can't get the natural gas, it's not going to work with what we need to do with the painting and the powder coating and all the other electrical needs. It just won't work for us. And so about 6 hours later, I was having dinner and my cell phone rings, and it was the assistant to Nikki Haley. And so she said to me, Arnold, she said, if I can get South Carolina to pay for the natural gas right to your factory, are you moving to South Carolina? And so I said yes, and I kept my promise. Then of course, we had to finish negotiating to buy the building. So, but we like Manning, we still do. It's really nice people. It's a town that needed the work too. There was the unemployment in the county at that time was probably 15–16%. So we figured it would be a good place to move to, and we're happy with our move.
That's excellent. What have been your biggest challenges and accomplishments at your bicycle factory?
Well, the biggest challenge we had is that, normally when people start a factory, say like in Taiwan or in Japan or in China, they go and they steal 20 or 30 or 50 workers from another factory to get started. But we had nobody, what do you call it, with any experience. So we had to train every single worker. And I saw, Woody, I saw you out there from Trimodal. How you doing? The a Trimodal warehouse in Ladson, they do handle probably over 1 million bikes a year for us through the port and to our customers. But anyway, with no training, and so we had to train every single worker from ground zero. We had to bring in all the technology. We had all the overhead conveyors that we put in and install the painting. But probably my number accomplishment is that as we started, we were making a few hundred bikes a day. And pre-COVID, back in January, we were making, a year ago, 1,500 or 1,600 bicycles a day there. We're really proud of that. Unfortunately, right now with the COVID and the social distancing and bicycle manufacturing don't go hand in hand. And so it'll get better. I mean, I think we were pre-conference, we were talking about the vaccine, and that's the key. I mean, people looking, it's not the incentives that are going to get the economy rolling. It's getting everybody vaccinated and people back to work. I know for me, I haven't traveled anywhere, and I'm dying to get on an airplane and go someplace and spend some money. It's I just hope, I'm getting off track a little bit. I'm just hoping that this program, the money that they give out, is targeted and not given to people who haven't lost their job. I mean, give the people who have lost their job and in trouble money, but don't give money to people that've been working and full time. It doesn't make any sense at all. Just to make people happy. But anyway, yeah, we're happy with the factory, and we're looking to expand. We slowed down a little bit in terms of our expansion plans during the trade war because the tariffs are on this and that. We were all set to start importing the steel tubing to make bicycle frames, and then we were buying we're going to buy the machinery to actually weld the frames in South Carolina. But then we didn't know what our cost was from day to day, and people say, well, why don't just buy the steel here? Well, there's so much tooling that goes into making one frame. It's on just one model, it's about $500,000 of tooling. So while we will get there one day, it's not a place you want to start. But anyway, it's we're happy when we're rolling, and any member of the Rotary that want to stop by the factory in Manning, just let us know, and we can arrange a tour for you. Hopefully after the COVID.
that would be awesome. That would really be cool. I would love to see it. I'm very interested in that, and I'm sure others around our district would be as well. Last question for you, and then we got some things posted in the chat box. So folks, if you're watching and you have a question about a bicycle or a question for Arnold about bicycles, or want to know more about Manning and everything else, how about post that in the chat box at this time? The pandemic has had various impacts on many businesses. Tell us how it has impacted your business.
Well, I mean, I already explained how it's impacted our factory, and we actually had one employee, unfortunately, in our warehouse who contracted it and passed away, which is devastating. He didn't get it in our factory. He got it from his father. And they passed on the same weekend. It was one of the most awful things in my lifetime I've seen. But we've been fortunate and been very careful and stressing the social distancing and the hand washing. I think people got a little bit lazy on the hand washing, to be candid. The other stuff, and I see people with sometimes the mask pulled down with their nose exposed, and yeah, look, I hate the mask more than anybody, but we've got to do it. So anyway, but that's the downside. The upside is that everybody started buying bicycles, and it's been now 10 months in a row, we cannot catch up to the demand, not even close. And now that we're starting to ramp up our production and getting parts and getting complete bicycles in, we can't get trucks to show up. There's a shortage of long distance truck drivers. It's the trucking companies are having problems getting people to drive trucks. FedEx is so overwhelmed with business. We were a year ago, between the three warehouses that we're shipping from, we were loading at holiday time about 10 53-foot FedEx trucks a day, 500 orders per truck. And this year we were lucky to get two trucks a week. Yeah, so it was, so it's just the distribution, but the demand remains very hard. And so we had record sales and record earnings this past year, which were very helpful, because the trade war cost us to lose millions of dollars, because the having to suddenly pay an extra $10, $15, $20 a bicycle. Well, it's easy just to say you want to raise your prices, but if your major customers, you have the inventory, they don't accept it, you've got to roll with it for a while. So, but anyway, we're hoping that the trade war will end. We hosted an event actually at our factory in Manning, Farmers for Free Trade, because if anybody's been really hurt by the trade war, it's the farmers. I mean, giving them money and subsidy are band-aids, but once they've lost the business, it's so we're hoping for an end to the trade war. We see the president of China reached out to Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, yesterday. So that's interesting. So I'll have to start drinking Starbucks coffee, I guess. And but anyway, it's business is very strong. Demand is very strong, but so many challenges between the production side. Getting the containers from China is a big challenge these days. Getting them in and then getting them shipped out and into the stores and assembled. I tell people, it's not like running a business. It feels like I'm playing whack-a-mole right now. You fix one problem and another one pops up. But anyway, that's every year has its different challenges. This year's got more than most, but we're mostly hopeful, and so hopeful getting the vaccine, which I'm supposed to get next week. Can't wait. I'm 70 years old. So I know I only look like I'm 69. So it's that's where we are right now, and so I'm happy to take some questions.
So for those that are looking for a bike, they should probably keep looking, I would guess.
Well, it's they contact you. We can maybe put together some specials, but it's just, I mean, it's short. You need to call the guys at Tri-Modal who are on the call. They're the ones who got all the bikes there, but it's I'm just kidding. But yeah, let us know.
So you mentioned Walmart was like your biggest, I guess, retailer.
Right.
So if someone was to walk into Walmart right now, how would they know it's a Kent bicycle?
Well, the bicycles that we supply to Walmart have a few brands. We have the Kent would be easy to think. We have 4 models with the BCA brand, which are the bikes that we actually produce in South Carolina. That's, say, Bicycle Corporation of America. That's what the BCA stands for. And then there's also Genesis brand bicycles in Walmart, also made by us. And then we have some really cute little girls' bicycles with the license called Little Mismatched, where you have the pink tire in the front and a blue tire in the rear, and so we have a few models like that. But a lot of models, and we are Walmart's largest bike supplier, so under more pressure than everyone else to fill that pipeline.
Gotcha. And then do you cater to or sell to like little like town in the community bike shops, non-affiliated retailers?
Well, that was the other thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mention it. We also started a business a couple of years ago. We bought a brand name called Univega, which was a famous high-end bicycle brand for bike shops. And so we produce all of those bicycles not in Manning. We bought a second facility in Somerton, which is about 10 miles away or 8 miles away. And so we're assembling all those bicycles there. And so, yeah, we sell those to bike shops. And we were struggling a little bit to get started, but suddenly this year, everybody loves us. And
Well, how can we get you living in the great state of South Carolina full time?
well, you need to talk to my wife. I had, I picked out, the guy who runs the Port of South Carolina is a very good friend of mine, and he had asked me to consider, and he lives in a building in Mount Pleasant, Jim Newsom I'm talking about, and I fell in love with it, and I wanted, and was trying to get my wife down there, and even Nikki called my wife and and gave her a push. But so look, I'm for right now, I'm just looking forward to my second vaccination, which will be in about a month, and then pretty soon thereafter, hopping on a plane and getting down to. I haven't been in the factory in a year.
Wow.
Which I used to be there every 3 weeks. I'd be down there for 3-4 days, and I love it. But I'm only the boss in the office. So the moment I come home, I'm about fourth in command.
Well, that's interesting. Mary Gasku, who you know, her daughter has one of your bikes. She speaks very highly
Right.
of it. So let's go to some questions here from the audience. Where are the Trek bikes made?
Most of the Trek bicycles are about 90% are made in China. About 8% of them are made in Taiwan, and about 2% are they're super high-end bikes, like $4,000 or $5,000, are assembled in Wisconsin. I mean, they used to make all their bicycles in Wisconsin, and but they moved that all offshore.
What distinguishes your brand or brands from other popular consumer brands?
Yeah, basically we quality. We feel within the mass market, the Walmarts, the Targets, the Amazons, that we have the best quality. We're toughest on the componentry, and we don't cut any corners. Not that they're cutting things, but we have a simple motto, even at bicycles that retail for $80 to $100, that the quality of what goes into each bicycle has got to be good enough for a member of our own family. So we live that, we stress that, and then we also have a spectacular design team. I have 7 full-time artists. When 50 years ago or 45 years ago, I was the designer, and I designed all the bikes by myself, and I was very, very glad to stop doing that.
Excellent. And do you have any electric offerings at this time, or will you in the future?
We do, in fact. You can. We have some the more expensive ones. We have some e-bikes with the Univega. Actually, it's called Univega USA. It's right now we just have one model. It's like a hybrid kind of bicycle where the battery is self-contained in the down tube, the motor's in the rear hub. It's about $1,500. And then we have bicycles that you can find on Walmart or Walmart.com for about $800, I think. And so yeah, and that's a very quick growing. It's challenging though, because not a lot of people know how to maintain the bicycles and how to service them, but it's going to become a very big part of the business in the future.
Yeah, they're getting more and more popular. Shout out to Woody, who with Trimodal is down in Ladson listening in, and they warehouse your bicycles. And also, Woody, I put my email address in the chat. I would love to know more. Have you send me an email. Love this next comment. This is really great. You have been a great friend to Rotary. You donated bikes for our governor's conference several years ago, and again to our World Polio Day 2 years ago. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
And then our illustrious past district governor Lou says, I won one of those bikes and it's a beauty.
Okay.
So there's a question I think a lot of people on the call may have and may want to know is, are you a Rotarian?
I am not. So I'm I feel the what was the famous line by Groucho Marx? I would never want to join any club that would have me for a member. It was just a joke, but it's
Absolutely. I mean, I think every one of these clubs represented on this call would. You like to play golf, so you got to come to Myrtle Beach. But
yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Do you export to third world countries to help people living in poverty?
Not specifically. We do donate bicycles, like returns, that otherwise that we give away, and we ship them, and then the bikes are then actually repaired before they're shipped. And so yes, maybe several thousand a year.
That's excellent. Now, that's all for the questions, but I did receive a little private message here, and not sure this can happen. So let's see if it can happen. Woody, are you available to come off of mute?
Yes.
Well, thanks for being here, sir. If possible, could you explain about the Somerville Kent bike project?
The Somerville Kent bike project that we did over Christmas, is that what we're referring to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So again, through his son, Arnold's son, we actually had some bicycles donated to the Somerville Evening Rotary Club. This year, we on 2 different occasions, we put those bikes together. We had our own little assembly line, put bicycles together, and then donated them to the Somerville Police Department as part of their community outreach. Their outreach went through the local schools in Dorchester District 2 in Somerville, through their the school's resource officers, and identified families that certainly could use a bicycle around Christmas. So it really was a cool project, and we're grateful to Kent on their donation of those bicycles.
Yeah, I'm teaching my son Scott well. It's about giving back, and it's I mean, one thing I didn't mention, I wasn't really part of the conversation, is that we're involved in a lot of charities and organizations. We're working with a group called Amtrike. We're going to be building those bikes in South Carolina. They supply for no charge tricycles for physically challenged kids and adults, and we're going to be building those. And then what I'm really excited about is that we are very closely involved with the Susan G. Komen organization. Breast cancer, some numbers that the guys probably don't know, the women do, is that in a woman's lifetime, 1 out of 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. When I heard that number, shocking. And so over the past 11 years, we've donated approximately $1.7 million to the Susan G. Komen organization. And this year coming up will be about $300,000. And we had our contract up for renewal. They said, "Are you going to renew it?" I said, "Only if you say yes." It's we definitely want to be working with you forever. And they're a great organization and operational. And I learned more about breast cancer than I guess I ever really wanted to know. But it's anyway, so we're really proud of that cooperation with them.
That's amazing, and yes, thank you for your generosity. That's truly amazing. That warms my heart, and I'm sure that warms a lot of hearts here on this call. So thank you for sharing a lot with us this morning. That was what an excellent presentation, and we appreciate you joining us. Any last questions? Please post those in the chat box. While we were doing that, folks, couple of announcements as we wrap up the week. Next week, your CWRAP speakers on Monday, we're going to hear from Sherry Storm. You can't be together. How to work together when you can't be together. That's going to be a great topic, especially what we're going through right now. And then on Wednesday, we have Chris Cothran with the state EMS talking about how they train EMS techs. Another should be very interesting presentation. Now, you notice I'm not saying Friday because Friday is open at this time. Hopefully we'll get that filled. What I will also say is next Thursday is District Happy Hour. That can be found on DACDB on the calendar. And then all of you that are on here, most of you are regulars on CWRAP, and we very much appreciate you. But I'm going to give you back a day on your calendar. And that happens to be the 29th of January. That's a Friday. There will be no CWRAP program on that day. Now, you're probably saying, what's going on the 29th and there won't be a CWRAP? Well, our illustrious district governor leadership team will be doing interviews that day, and we do not want to rush that process as it's very important. So we have decided to postpone the January 29th CWRAP program so that our district governors can take care of some very important business that day. So with that being said, I don't see any further questions. Arnold, thank you again so much, sir.
You're very, very welcome. My pleasure.
And I'll conclude today with the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. It's going to be chilly, but stay warm out there. See you on Monday at 11 for the next conversation with Rotary Action People. Take care, folks. That's a wrap. Bye-bye.
Arnold, thank you so much.